So now I'm using my arm as the cell phone holder because it's so inefficient. All right, this is fine, right? There's no weird shadow. Okay, so real quick, I'm gonna tell you the story that my friend Jim Quick once told me about this documentary filmmaker who followed a bunch of twins to understand, try and understand why some people turned out the way they do one way versus another way. So he met up with these two twins, and they'd both grown up in the same household with an alcoholic father who beat his children, cheated on his wife, was like just a lot of rage and a lot of anger, super rageaholic. And so he went to go visit the first twin of two and interviewed him. And this one twin had turned out exactly like his father. He was an alcoholic who abused his wife and his kids and cheated and was, there was infidelity. And so the filmmaker was like, so why do you think you are the way you are? And he looks at the filmmaker and he's like, are you kidding me? Don't you know how I grew up? How could I have turned out any other way? And so the filmmaker is like, okay. And then he goes and finds this guy's twin brother who at this point has become a social worker, lovingly married to his wife, two kids, loving, doted, committed father. And the filmmaker was like, oh, wow, this is interesting. Why do you think you turned out the way that you did? And this twin, who was a social worker, looks at the filmmaker and goes, well, you know all about my childhood. How could I possibly have turned out any other way? And so here are two individuals who have grown up in the exact same household, the exact same environment, yet they have turned out completely different. And so we become who we are based on the stories that we tell ourselves about things that happen in our lifetimes, because the same thing can happen and five people who experience the same thing can turn out five completely different ways and five completely different interpretations of what's happened. So my question is the story that you've told yourself about who you are strengthening you and empowering you, or not? And if not, you want to change that? If so, feel free to reach out and we'll have a little chat about that. I'm a big, big fan of the power of story and how we narrate our own lives. That teaches us who we are and why we do what we do. And if you've chosen a story where you're a victim and things happen and they're bad and you're hurting, you just want to hurt others, if that's working for you, okay. And the day it stops working for you, there's support out there. And if the story that you've chosen to tell yourself about who you are and why you do what you do is empowering and drives you and motivates you and inspires you to do better, to be better, then by all means, thank you for doing the work and to keep doing it. Okay. See ya.